In April of 1992, a young man by the name of Christopher McCandless marched into the Alaskan wilderness. He decided to leave all that he knew in search for happiness and a deeper meaning to his life. He left his family and friends, rejected all that represented what he thought was wrong with American society, including materialism and consumerism. He embarked on a journey that took him all around the western United States and eventually to Alaska. He forged new relationships while simultaneously cutting off those he was closest with. Despite his knack to dig himself out of the holes he created, his unwillingness to accept the modern tools for survival ultimately led to his death. His body was found 4 months later, having died of starvation. It was soon picked up by local media and then by the national news, receiving opinions from people all over on how Chris McCandless' life played out and how his actions led to his fatal end.
Many people have different opinions on McCandless. Some see him as a hero who lived life to the fullest, whereas others see him as naive and overconfident for discrediting the land and all that it was. However, we believe that McCandless was a combination of both. On one hand, there are readers that believe Chris McCandless' lifestyle was inspirational and that the separation of self from society's materialistic values was genius. By cutting himself off of materialistic ideas and values, Chris strived to be his raw and genuine self. In today's society, people crave this adventure that Chris was able to accomplish, but are not able to receive it because they are too focused on staying secure. Crocker writes, "So many people live within unhappy circumstances and yet will not take the initiative to change their situation because they are conditioned to a life of security, conformity, and conservatism, all of which may appear to give one peace of mind, but in reality, nothing is more damaging to the adventurous spirit within a man than a secure future." Crocker may give a slightly biased response, but he highlights a key component of McCandless' ideology. The free man must take the path less traveled. We may have an urge, a desire to venture out into the unknown and explore what is possible, but many people trade in this dream for security. It is intimidating to leave everything that you have worked for behind for a life of security. Everyone wants to know what is going to happen to them because uncertainty means the potential for the worst outcome to happen. But what people forget is that uncertainty also means the potential for the best outcome to happen, which is what Chris McCandless was aiming for. He tries to live his life in the moment, and that has inspired many people to follow his general path. People want to feel alive in a world that seems to be more and more superficial and devoid of meaning.
However, McCandless' adventure's ultimate end caused many to disapprove of his action, which resulted him in being castigated by some in society and labeled a deviant with a death wish. After the publication of McCandless' death in The Outside, Crocker received mail from the readers, most of which were negative. In one of the letters it states, "Why would anyone intend to live off the land for a few months? Forget Boy Scout rule number 1, be prepared. Why would any son cause his parents and family such a permanent, perplexing pain?" His actions were deemed selfish and pointless, yet he was only striving for his own ideals, searching for his path to freedom, defying society to find true happiness. All he did was challenge the status quo, and people saw it as a threat to their way of life. That's why there was so much criticism surrounding McCandless. He didn't conform to societal standards like the rest of us, and it scares us. It is a challenge to the foundation of our social structure, which most of us don't want to disrupt because it provides us with some comfort. McCandless shunned the social norms, both inspiring and displeasing people, but he ended up dying in the process, causing many to discredit his unorthodox ideals.
Despite the seemingly polarizing take on Chris McCandless, our views of his ideals and actions are more moderate. McCandless was admirable in that he was able to break free from the social pressure to conform and detach himself from materialistic items and society's selfish ways. He was able to be his raw self by avoiding the pressures of society. McCandless lived for himself rather than for others, doing what he wished, when he wished. Although McCandless was able to accomplish this sense of freedom that a majority of people aspire to have, we believe that McCandless did this with too much confidence. He was too reckless and was not completely prepared for his adventure. His death can be used as a direct example for his heedlessness. In all, we respect his motives, but think McCandless could have been more cautious in the methods to his madness. After reading Into the Wild, many readers have taken sides on their viewpoints of Christopher McCandless. Some are inspired by him in his search for true freedom, while others think he was careless and selfish in his actions. As a group, we have found a happy median. We align with his ideology of finding himself without the materialistic evils of the world. but think the path he chose to reach this goal was immature. Maybe if McCandless was alive to define his journey, he would be more credible.